Hey guys, Hamsterwheel here with a new video, and today we're going to check out some more classic items that will still be relevant in the Burning Crusade. I got inspired to do a part 2, if you will, after seeing some really great recommendations from people in the comment section mentioning a bunch of other items that will still be relevant, as well as a few items I still had on my list. So today I'm going to show you 10 more classic items that will still be relevant in the Burning Crusade. As before, I will not talk about anything super obvious like loot from Crusade, as that is a bit of a dead giveaway that gear will still be relevant in the Burning Crusade, so I'll try my best to focus more on items from lower rates or even items you can get before you hit level 60. So without further ado, let's get started. And we're starting off the list with the CrystalAdorned Crown that drops off of Azuragos. This item has 14 intellect, 13 spirit, but more importantly a massive 92 healing done and 31 damage done. And that plus healing done is basically the reason I decided to put this on the list, because it is a huge amount of healing on a headpiece even in the Burning Crusade. If I put it side to side with your run-of-the-mill blue item out of Heroic Dungeons, you can see that the CrystalAdorned Crown gives it a good run for its money. It actually beats the level 70 heroic blue item in terms of healing, and while yes, the Burning Crusade item has a lot more base stats, which admittedly is a bit of a reoccurring theme in these videos, the CrystalAdorned Crown really shows that with its massive 92 healing, it's still an item that can be good in the Burning Crusade at max level. Next up is the Wolf's Head's Helm, an item that probably doesn't need much of an introduction. This item is basically the best item for feral druids because of the 20 energy you get every time you shift into cat form, allowing you to gain back a lot of bonus energy when power shifting. And it is in fact so powerful that it is still conceived to be the best in slot item for headpiece in the Burning Crusade. Oh yeah, a level 40 blue item from Classic is still best in slot 30 levels later in a completely different version of the game. That's pretty awesome if you ask me. So if you're a feral druid and you have this in your bag, and if Classic ever goes to Burning Crusade, you're going to be wearing this for a very long time in the Burning Crusade as well. Also big thanks for Set Oni, Banana Zag, Storm Surges and a few others for mentioning this in my previous video. Another item we gotta talk about is the Scarab Brooch, a trinket from Ankiraj that gives the target you're healing a shield that absorbs damage equal to 15% of the amount you heal the target for 30 seconds. So if you heal someone with a healing touch for let's say 3000, that means with just one cast you'll give him a bonus shield that absorbs 450 damage. And since this trinket becomes more powerful the more heals you can throw at the target, it means that even in the Burning Crusade it is still a really good healing item, especially in an emergency situation or certain phases where a lot of healing is required. Because it's not a fixed amount of damage the shield will absorb, but based on a percentage that stacks really well with a ton of bonus healing. Matter of fact, it was one of the few trinkets which involved a percentage that wasn't changed around in a later expansion. For instance, the Natural Alignment Crystal with 20% damage and healing in Classic, and it was changed to a fixed spell damage in the Burning Crusade. Same with the Mind Quickening Gem, it's 33% casting speed in Classic and a fixed haste rating in the Burning Crusade. However, the Scarab Brooch trinket wasn't nerfed until a much later stage of the game. Matter of fact, this trinket was still relevant in Wrath of the Lich King rating, which just goes to show how powerful this trinket can be. So yeah, if you manage to grab this item from Ankiraj, you better hold on to this one. Also, a big thanks to Victor Sandal, Cinday, Colin Hobbs, Tyler Barnwell, and Conrad Paul for bringing this item up in my previous video. Alright, on to the next item, which is going to be a Quiver, the Harpy Hide Quiver to be exact. Yeah, we don't talk a whole lot about those, but it's worth mentioning this item. It's a 16 slot quiver with a bonus ranged attack speed of 15%, and you can get this as early as level 51 because it's obtainable by getting revered with either the Stormpike Guard or Frostwolf clan, though obviously you can't actually wear it until you're level 55. Anyway, the reason this item is still relevant in the Burning Crusade is because the Burning Crusade quivers give the exact same percentage of bonus attack speed. And yes, while some quivers have a few more slots, that only means you'll have to buy arrows less frequently. It doesn't really do anything for your DPS. So if you're a hunter and you already have this quiver equipped, you can most definitely hold on to this one and do just fine in terms of your quiver all the way through the Burning Crusade. Next up, we're going to talk about the Wild Growth Spalders, which can be obtained from the chest after you've defeated Major Domo in Molten Core. These shoulders offer you 12 intellect, 11 stamina, 10 spirit, and a massive 62 healing and 21 damage done. Now these shoulders are in fact so powerful that they are considered to be the best in slot for phase 4 and phase 5, and only being beaten out by the Dreamwalker shoulders that you can get out of Naxxramas. So that probably means it's still going to be a nice item in the Burning Crusade, right? Well, yeah, if we compare it to a similar item in the Burning Crusade, like the Mantle of Autumn, which follows kind of the same design, you can see that yes, the Burning Crusade item once again has more base stats, but it has less bonus healing. Admittedly not a lot, it only has 16 healing less, but for an item that drops in Molten Core, I'd say that's pretty darn impressive, and it shows that when you step into level 70 dungeons, the Wild Growth Spalders are still going to be quite useful for you, even in that stage of the game. Up next is another trinket aimed for healers, and that is the Hibernation Crystal. A trinket that on use gives you 350 healing and 117 damage for 15 seconds. Now the bonus healing this trinket gives you is pretty insane, and there's very few items in Classic that can touch the raw bonus healing this trinket offers you. And even in the Burning Crusade, while some trinkets do have extra passive stats, the level 70 blue trinkets that drop out of dungeons don't come nowhere near the 350 bonus healing this item offers you, with an item like the Scarab Brooch offering you 68 bonus healing less on use. Of course, that item does have a passive 13 MP5, as well as the effect lasting 20 seconds instead of the Hibernation Crystal's 15 seconds. But then again, the Hibernation Crystal also has a very short cooldown of 1.5 minutes. So while it's probably not going to be on any Burning Crusade best in slot healing list, I'd say this trinket can still be relevant in the Burning Crusade if you ask me. Up next, we gotta talk about the Fel Infused Leggings, which drop off of Doomlord Kazakh. Cloth pants with 21 stamina and a massive 64 shadow damage done. Now this is probably every Shadow Priest's wet dream, as they are the best pants a Shadow Priest can get according to Classic WoW bitch lists regarding the Shadow Priest. And well, for a good reason. There's no item in the game that can really touch the raw 64 shadow damage this item offers you, and because of that it's still pretty relevant in the Burning Crusade. For instance, the Devil Stitched Leggings, even if you slap 3 blue spell power gems in there, can't touch the 64 shadow damage the Classic pants offer. It does come close, and it does offer you some more stamina and a bunch of intellect, but in terms of raw damage, the Fel Infused Leggings still take the cake. Now admittedly, the Devil Stitched Leggings with the 3 sockets offer a lot more flexibility for maybe a bit of spell hit or whatever, but if you ask me, the Fel Infused Leggings still give some Burning Crusade items a good run for their money, so I wouldn't be surprised if Shadow Priests hold on to this in the early stage of Burning Crusade until they get their hands on maybe Spellstrike pants, the Kirin Master's trousers from Heroic Shadow Labs, or the Trial Fire trousers from Karazhan. Okay, time to give tanks some attention with this item, Stylines or Stylines Impeding Scarab, whichever way you pronounce it, which drops off of Flame Gore in Blackwing Lair. Now this trinket offers you 24 block rating, 24 block value rating of your shield, and 20 defense rating. Now this trinket can still be pretty good in the Burning Crusade because it offers you a lot of passive stats, which can really come in handy if you're a tank that's looking to gain some extra defensive stats that you can't get through your other current gear. It's nothing mind-blowing when you look at it, but this combination of good passive stats still make this a really nice trinket for tanks in the Burning Crusade. And a big thanks for Treba, Jesse W, and Uncle Bob for bringing this item up in my previous video. Alright, moving on to the Deviate Growth Cap, a leather headpiece that drops off of the world boss known as Lethon, or whatever you pronounce it. It has 16 stamina, 14 intellect, 64 healing done, 22 damage, 8 MP5, and 14 spell crit rating. Now currently this is the best headpiece you can get as a Resto Druid in Classic, and even after Anki Raj and Naxxramas, it's still considered to be one of, if not the best headpiece for Resto Druids. So surely this means it's still relevant in the Burning Crusade, right? Well, yeah, though admittedly it has a hard time competing with some level 70 blue items, like this one, the Crown of the Forest Lord. But hey, we're talking about a level 70 blue item that drops in heroic dungeons, so chances are, if you are a Resto Druid and you have this headpiece, you'll probably hold on to this for a while throughout your leveling journey and through a bunch of level 70 normal dungeons in the Burning Crusade, so I'd say this still has its place in the early stages of the Burning Crusade. Alright, now as an extra, I'd like to throw in the Dark Moon card Blue Dragon. Now, whether this item is still relevant in the Burning Crusade is still up for debate, as I've seen people both recommending it and saying they'd rather use a different trinket. Though, admittedly, a lot of those arguments are based on private server numbers. I've seen a few people do the math before regarding Vanilla WoW, and what some found is that the MP5 trinket from Onyxia should in theory give you more mana back than the Blue Dragon card. But then again, it might differ if Classic ever goes to the Burning Crusade and the values are changed or whatever. But since it's a trinket that gets brought up every now and then regarding healers, I decided to throw it in here. And hey, since it's still up for debate, I'd like to ask you guys. Do you guys think this trinket will have a place in Burning Crusade rating? Let me know in the comment section below, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And there you go guys, 10 more classic items that will still be relevant in the Burning Crusade. I know most of these items are focused around casters, but admittedly I have a lot more experience with casters compared to melees, so that's why. Once again, a huge thanks to the people who brought up some more items in my previous video, and also a huge thanks for you for watching this video. I'll be back soon with more content, but until then, I'm Hamsterwheel and have a good one.